In today's video, we're going to talk about Discipline's Breadcrumbs, one of the best albums of 2025 in my humble opinion. And instead of doing like a rave review about the album, we're going to talk about two tracks and their similarities with other two maybe well-known tracks. Stay tuned.
Those in charge may call it forbidden.
First track that we're going to talk about is Keep the Change, the second track of the Discipline's album. This track has a passage like in the middle of the song which resembled me instantaneously of other very well-known song in the mainstream world, and it goes like this. This section is in E minor, although it starts in the C, which is the flat 6, goes to the minor 5, the 1, the flat 7, and has this passing chord that goes to the 5, although with the bass on the 3rd, before landing on the E minor, so the home chord of this section. So it was quite quick for me to understand what would be the song. Do you guess? And indeed, we're talking about Daft Punk's Digital Love, and which is like the main hook of that song. That song is in F sharp minor, so we're going to adjust it to E minor, so transpose it to E minor, so you can grasp better the similarities. But basically the song or that passage is pretty much the same, which is the difference is that Daft Punk plays this chord suspended, so it's more ambiguous, like it stays like really suspended, the chord as well. It doesn't resolve to the E minor again, and then has that lick like, so it's like the same approach comparing to what I've mentioned before with Discipline's song Keep the Change. Listen to them in a row and see for yourself. The other song that I want to discuss is Aria. The last song on the Discipline's record, arguably the most beautiful one. It is the epic that wraps the album up. And with this song and the similarity with the other song that I'm going to discuss, I've struggled a little bit more because, well, it's not that well known, but to me, it's arguably more well known, if this makes any sense, because I've listened to this album a lot when I was younger. So this section is in D minor and it starts in D minor. So going to A with a sharp 5th and with a bass on a C sharp, moving to F over C, and then here is where the similarity ends. You might think, well, this is very little to be called a similarity, but the way Matthew phrases the verses comparing to the song that I'll tell you in a minute is indeed very close, but I'm going just to break down the rest of this part, which I find very beautiful, because Matthew resolves the song back to D minor differently than the example that I'm comparing with. Again, D minor, A over C sharp, F over C, then B half diminished, which is in this case a passing chord, going to B flat, which is the flat 6, and then he resolves this in two separate ways. One of the times he does move to C, which is the flat 7, before going to the initial home chord, which is a very quite more obvious way of resolving this to the initial minor key, so the flat 6, the flat 7 to the minor 1. But in the second time, or I'm not saying it's the second time, it's in an alternative time, he does differently, and in my point of view, even in a more interesting way. So he does. It's exactly the same, but here the resolution we're going to change to the minor key. So it's again the flat 6, but it's the minor flat 6. Maybe with this 6th as well, that will help also or strengthen the path to the resolution. Beautiful. And what is the song that I'm comparing this with?
Is curled up on the floor, just like a baby boy.
Yes, I'm talking about Darkness by Peter Gabriel, the first track of his phenomenal Up album, one of the albums that really transformed my way of seeing music. So I've listened to this album a lot of times, and so it's kind of ingrained in my DNA. So I knew that this aria passage was calling me back to something, but I did struggle to really point out what would be the example. But here it is. It's Darkness. Originally it's in C minor, but here I'm going again to transpose it to D minor, just to help with the explanation. So basically the section really feels very similar. It has the same bass motion until here, and this is where it changes, because Matthew goes to the passing chord of B half diminished, and Peter stays on F but just changes the bass and puts the 7th, removing the 3rd, and then playing the sus with a 7. So he does the resolution via the flat 3 but with a 7 and a sus 4. That turns back this into D minor again. Both beautiful cases and very look alike, as you can confirm.
Shall I turn to you, anchoring the blue, to come back to the fire? Is curled up on the floor, just like a baby boy.
So that's it. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this video. And obviously these were two cases of coincidences. By no means I'm implying any sort of rip-off by Matthew and the guys. These are just coincidences, and hopefully we can have way more disciplined albums throughout the coming years. See you in the next video.